On today's episode, how to use liquid latex to make slashed fake skin. Welcome to today's episode of Kay's Recipes for Disaster here on the Ruby Tuesday. Today we're going to be playing around with liquid latex and figuring out how to turn it into fake skin that you can do lovely slash wounds with. Something that maybe Logan might have done to someone or had done to him in the film. So let's get started.
Put it on your throat. Yeah, that's so gross.
Okay, so here we go. We're going to start with just pouring some liquid latex into a bowl, and then you're going to add some flour and mix it really well. Just a note about liquid latex. You don't need to get a named brand like Mehron. They're super expensive. I managed to get this liquid latex for £6 for a whole litre, which is incredibly cheap, and I've put the link in the description below if you want to check that out as well. Once you've mixed your flour and your liquid latex together and you're happy with the consistency, you can spoon that onto a plate and just create whatever shape you want to create. So we're going for the slashed skin effect, so just create whatever shape you want to with that. And then I've taken a little bit of liquid latex and I've just smoothed along the edges just to get a really flat edge. You then need to leave that to dry overnight and then add a bit more flour onto the liquid latex, simply because liquid latex just loves to stick to itself and you really want to try and avoid that. So if you can, just peel up an edge, and then as soon as you've got a grip on the edge, start to shuffle in the flour behind it just so that it doesn't stick to itself, because that's the main thing it's likely to stick to and you really don't want it to do that. So just keep peeling and keep putting the flour on to make sure that it doesn't stick to itself. And there you go, voila! One latex prosthetic ready to go. Right, so we start with a little bit more liquid latex just to stick it down. If you're sticking this to a body part that has hair on it, so it's not hair free, try and go with the grain, because when you peel it off it'll be so much easier and less painful. So just place your latex prosthetic over your liquid latex and stick it down, and then make sure that you go around all the edges and make sure that it's nicely firmly in place. Just in case you're wondering, I have put a list of all the ingredients, all the different things that I'm using for this tutorial in the description below, so you can check that out if you want a list of everything I'm using. Right, once you've stuck it all down, you'll just have to wait for it to dry for a few minutes. It really doesn't take long at all. Once it's dry, you can add a foundation layer. Now what I discovered is that my face is not the same color as my leg, so you might want to try and match your foundation for whatever body part you're using. But in all honesty, it doesn't really matter, because once you put all the blood and gore and effects on the top, you won't really notice it. So start by just colouring in your slash wounds with a nice bright red, and then go over that with a darker red. I was using the Mehron Bruise wheel to do that. And then with your stipple sponge, just begin to stipple in some of the bloody rose colour. And this is quite a long and laborious process, but don't be in a rush to do it. Just keep dabbing on the colours, because otherwise you'll end up with it being completely pink, which you don't want. You can add some impact bruising for effect, and then some grazing as well with the brown colour. And now we come to the blood. Now this is a home recipe that I'm using, and I will put a link to the recipes for the blood that I use at the end of this video. I've got 3 different kinds of blood, and this is the one that I use with custard powder. It's quite nice and thick, and what's really nice about it as well is that it actually dries solid. So if you want to reuse this prosthetic, which you can do, then once it's dried, you've got your ready-made blood to go. So you want to add the blood into the gash wounds and then just play around with it. Add more, and then get a sponge and just dab a little bit of the blood around the wound, because you know you want it to be a bit messy. The messier the better. The messier the better, really, because you want to cover up the fact that it's latex. So just have fun with it. This is where you can get creative and just keep adding layers, keep adding more colors. And what I'm doing now is, well, I don't know, I guess a hairdresser might call it low lighting. Just adding spots of color that where the skin might be a bit more traumatized, just to give it a bit more definition. But you know, each prosthetic that you make will be different, so deal with what you've got, play around with it until you're happy with the effect that you've got. So if you want to, you can add a bit more bruising, you can add more blood, you can add more definition of colour. It really is yours to play with. This is really the most fun bit. It's my favourite bit, where you can really see that it's starting to take shape and you can just keep on adding bits and really go to town with it and let your creativity out. And there we have it, one really nasty gash wound on some poor person's leg. Oh, I stuck it down with my hair. That's good. Are you recording?
Yes.
Okay. Well, thank you so much for watching this episode. I hope you enjoyed it. Also, for your information, you can reuse these, just like this. So once it's dried out, well, obviously you peel it off whatever body part you've stuck it to, and then you just let it dry out overnight. You can reuse it. Just use a little bit of liquid latex and attach it to wherever you like. So multiple uses, which is really good. And here is the blood recipe that I promised, that you might need to have a look at if you want to make your own fake blood, which is really easy and really fun to do and totally edible, so enjoy that. Also, don't forget to check out our Tuesday News Day, which is coming up on Tuesday, and it's going to be a special one this week. Thanks again for watching. Bye!